Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 7th grade concept of operational word problems. This is 7.3b Readiness Practice, the intermediate version. If you are interested in exploring the 7.3b Readiness Practice for the proficient or advanced versions, or the Readiness Practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So David had 5/6 of a bag of candy. All right, so I'm going to kind of draw it like this. This is how much he had, 5/6, and that's going to be my total. So we know it's less than a whole, but I don't think that's super important. He's going to give 1/4 to his brother, okay? And then he's going to eat 1/3. And then the question is, what fraction is left? So we're looking for this section right here. Another way to look at it with a number sentence or an equation would be 5/6. We're going to give away the 1/4, and we're going to eat the 1/3. All right, so we're going to have to subtract fractions, and we really can't do that if we have different denominators. And so let's make common denominators. And I'm looking at my denominators of 6. I've got 4, and I've got 3. And I need to find multiples of those that are going to work. So 3 would go into 6, but 4 doesn't, so that's not going to help me. But I get to 12. And I'm thinking, you know what? That is going to work for me. Look at this. 12 is on all three lists. So let's make some equivalent fractions. So 5/6 times something is going to equal 12ths. Let's do 1/4 times something is going to equal 12ths. And then 1/3 times something is going to equal 12ths. Multiplying straight across, 6 times 2 makes 12, so I need 2 over 2 because 2 over 2 is 1. Anything multiplied by itself is itself. That's the identity property. So that's how we know that these fractions are equivalent, because I'm basically making the exact same fraction. I'm just making it look differently because I'm multiplying it by 1. All right, so 4 over 4, you just have to multiply by the same numerator and denominator. All right, so I'm going to replace this. So this, let me color code these for us here. So my 5/6 is going to be there. My 1/4 is right here. And then my 1/3 is right there. So it's really 10/12 minus 3/12 minus 4/12. All right, so 10/12 minus 3/12 is going to be 7/12 minus 4/12. It's going to get me a 3/4, excuse me, a 3/12. And I do need to simplify that, so let's simplify that by 3's. There's that fourth I was looking for. 1/4 is going to be the answer. 3/12 is also correct, but 1/4 is the simplest form of that 3/12. So Maya, for our second problem, had $138.65, and then she's going to buy a whole bunch of stuff. So take a look at this, 138.65. Let's make that our whole here using the strip diagram. She bought 5 books for $42.40. So the $42.40 includes 5 books, and it doesn't really matter how much each book costs. We don't even know whether each book costs the same amount. We just have this big chunk of money, and that's going to be $42.40, and there's my 5 books. So it doesn't really matter because we have that nice lump sum. Now 3 snacks for $3.85 each. All right, so I'm going to write those separately, and each of those are going to be $3.85 each. Those are my snacks. 2 notebooks for $6.75 each, so let's draw those. $6.75 each. That's a notebook. Then how much money does she have left? So we're looking for that remaining right there. So let me get, the 5 books was already totaled up for me, $42.40. Let's get the total for the snacks. So 385 times 3. It's going to be 15, 24, 25. 9, that's 11. All right, so 1155. Let's put that right there, 1155. And then 675, I can multiply by 2, or you could just add it to itself, right? Same idea, 14, 15, 12, 13. So here we go, 1350. Now, I've got 3 big chunks that I can add. I could add my 5 books for 4250. I can add my 3 snacks for 1155. And I can add my notebooks for 1350. Add those up, I'm going to get 5. That's 15. That's 3, 4, 7, and that's 6. All right, so if I wanted to put a big thing right here, I can say this, all of this, 67.55. I'm not done yet. That's not my answer. That's how much stuff Maya bought. $67.55 worth of stuff. But she had $138.65. So now we need to subtract those two. 138.65 minus 67.55. Then we will get to our answer. That's 10, that's 1, $71.10 is our answer. That's how much she had left. Let's put a dollar sign there. And I'll also put it right here. $71.10 is the amount of money that Maya has left. For our third problem, Sarah is buying some apples and some oranges, and she uses some apples to make a pie and buys later more apples and oranges. All right, so first off, how many kilograms of apples? So I've got 2 things that I've got working here. I've got apples, and then I've got oranges. And our first question is asking just about the apples. Let's make sure we're separating our data. So I'm going to circle in this red any of my apples data. So I've got apples, apples, I'm going to say bought apples. All right, and I'm using it because I need to know whether I'm adding or subtracting. So when she bought the 3.5, that's positive. Used 1.25, so we're going to subtract that. And then bought, so that's going to add 1/2. Okay, so that's what I need to do with my apples. I could go ahead and subtract those two, right? 3.5 minus 1.25. Let's make sure we add our 0 here to make it 3.50. Can regroup. That's 2.25. So now I've got my 2.25. And then I need to bring this down, right? Plus 1/2. Well, I need to convert that into a decimal. And so what is 1/2 as a decimal? Well, we learned in 6th grade our benchmark fractions, and that's 0.5. So let me just add right there. And I'm going to get 2.75. All right, so Sarah has, so let's put that into a sentence. 0.75 kg of apples left. All right, so in case we need to find our answer, we've got that. Now we need to do the same thing with oranges because look at the next part. How many kilograms of fruit does she have in total? Well, I already know my apples. I need to know my oranges. Then I'm going to get my fruit. So my oranges are right here. She didn't use any oranges to make a pie, so it's just those oranges. And then she bought some additional oranges. So it's really just those two because we didn't use any to make, there's no such thing as an orange pie. So 2.75 plus 1/4. Once again, I need to know what that is as a decimal. So that's really this 0.25. That's what the 1/4 equals as a decimal. And that is going to get us just a nice even 3. Okay, so Sarah has 3. We don't need the decimals, kilograms of oranges left. Now here's my question. I can put my answers right up here. So kilograms of apples, I can say 2.75. Now, fruit is going to be my apples and my oranges. So 2.75 plus 3, that's pretty simple. That is going to be 5.75 kilograms of fruit. That is my 2.75 kilograms of apples plus 3 kilograms of oranges. If you are interested in exploring this 7.3b readiness practice for the proficient or advanced versions or the readiness practice resource along with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.